Now that the life cycle of Cold War is finally over, I think it would be a good time to look back and reflect on the past season that we've had. And I feel like Cold War has had overall a pretty positive response from the community. I think everyone generally enjoys this game. However, there's one map that I feel like is a little bit too hated on, and that's Firebase Z. Now, a lot of people, I say a lot of bad stuff about Firebase Z. They even go as far to say that it's one of the worst maps that Treyarch's ever released. Now, I'm here to tell you and make you think about if it's really as bad as everyone says it is. I mean, the map, it does have its flaws, but I don't really want to get into it today and talk about why I think Firebase Z is a little bit too hated on. And that's about it. So let's just jump right into it. So, to start off, the actual map is beautiful. The atmosphere of this map is really, really nice. You're just in the middle of this like Vietnamese jungle with the blaring sun, and it just feels like you're in Vietnam. It's really, really cool. Especially the village portion of it. It feels a lot like you just arrived in this Vietnam city, and you're just kind of walking around. There's zombies with the hats and stuff like that. It really helps you to immerse yourself into the map, and especially because a lot of other maps, especially in this game, are more darker, and their facilities, like Mauer, Toten, Forsaken, and The Machine, they're all just facilities, and this is feels a lot more unique because it's just like the jungle kind of, and it has a facility in it, but if you feel like you really do feel like you're first off in the village, and then in an actual jungle, and it has a city that so happens to be in it. And like I said, it's a nice change of pace because a lot of other maps in this game and in zombies in general are just these dark, gritty maps with all this stuff. But this one's actually light, vibrant, and I think that really tends to make some pretty good maps, like Shangri-La, Shinonuma. This map, it's just bright colored maps. I feel like are generally more accepted by the community and are generally more interesting to look at than just sandbags at a wall that's gray. Just get that shit out of here. Anyway, the next part that I really, really enjoy about Firebase Z, and I think something that doesn't get enough credit, is that the map is super open. A lot of other zombies maps, especially in this game, I know they're open, but this one, it allows you to kind of choose whether or not you want to play it in open or if you want to play it in more closed off space. So it gives you a lot more options, is what I'm trying to say. So, if you want to train out in the open, you have the portion right after you come out of the village where the helicopter is. If you want to train out inside of the barracks area, you can train there as well. You can train out in any of the 3 sections, branching off sections where the assault waves happen. And you can have options to camp as well. You can camp inside the OPC. You can camp inside of the different huts around the different assault wave areas. You can camp inside the colonel's office. You can just camp and train and do whatever you want. There's a lot of open freedomness to this map, which I really, really enjoy, and I don't think a lot of other maps have that, because a lot of other maps, it's like, oh yeah, you find there's one dominant strategy, but with this map, there's many dominant strategies. I mean, I've gone to round 50, easy. You can get to round 50 easy just camping inside the OPC. It's so much fun. And I feel like just that openness allows for a lot more gameplay diversity and ultimately a lot more replayability. Because think about it, you can play Firebase Z however you want, and you're going to get to a high round. And even if you really want to, and you really want to get your blood boiling, then you can go train around in the village till round 100. That is... I can't even describe people who do that. But anyway. Now, the map itself, to go into one of the gameplay, it's not tedious for new players. New players, in zombies maps, there's often a hard barrier to entry. For example, Mob of the Dead, Origins, The Rise and Drac, all of BO4. It's this entirety just monster that you just have to, understand fully if you really want to do well on the map. However, with Firebase Z and really Cold War in general, it's more linear, and you can actually figure things out yourself. However, where this map shines in comparison to other Cold War maps is that the quests are actually still a little bit difficult. It's not like The Machine or Forsaken where you can get the stuff really easily. This one actually requires still a little bit of challenge and a little bit of time. So, for example, to get the actual Ray K itself, you need to do 4 things, which they take a bit of time. So, first thing, you need to get the eye from the guy and then put it inside the computer. Take the key, open it up, and kill all the mimics that come out, which that can be a bit of a task for new players who aren't good at the game. And then you need to scan the retina on the dartboard and then go shoot the dartboard, which could be a bit hard. But the difference between that and something like building a staff on Origins is that it's not super tedious. Like, for example, building literally whatever staff on Origins, you have to go all the way down to the you have to go all the way down to the crazy place, grab the rock, then you have to go all the way up and grab the 3 parts, then you have to build it, and then you have to take that and upgrade it, and then you you build the staff and then you upgrade it using the different whatever way, like for example wind staff, you have to shoot the helmets, and then you come back down, shoot the orb, and then go back down to the crazy place, build it, and then you're allowed to use it. And with Firebase Z, it's just a lot less time consuming. It's just the steps are super simple. It's just, you shoot a dartboard and then you get your wonder weapon. Like, it's really not that hard. I don't know why people complaining about it that much. And then other than that, you just kill a mangler on round 20 or whatever. You'll get the other part. You charge it, and then you just have to get the wall blueprint thing, and then you can build it. It's super simple, but it's not tedious and it's not super hard either. It's just that perfect balance of how to get a wonder weapon. And it really pays off because the Ray K is one of the best wonder weapons we've ever actually had statistically. If you shoot the orb down and then shoot it with how it's the Mark III, it will do infinite damage, and it does a very, very large range that it does that as well. Next thing is the little side Easter eggs that are on the map. So, for example, the bunny Easter egg is really just unique. The side Easter eggs on this map are unique. Now, not all of them are good. Like, the jump pads aren't good, but the bunny rabbit, when you aim into it and you teleport to that area, it's fun. It's just cool stuff like that I think make this map really shine in comparison to others and really give it that character that Cold War needed. Like, this map, it has a lot of character. Things like the like I said, the bunny, the head that you can carry and get the free perk from. And even the assault waves, it just gives this map character. The assault waves feel like you're battling off a fiend, and instead of just having the same rounds over and over and over and over and over. Now, to talk the story of this map, I don't normally like to do this very much on these kind of review videos, but I feel like Firebase Z's story deserves to be shown here, as it's actually pretty interesting. It's more interesting than, I guess, majority of Cold War, some might say. So, first off, the introduction of William Peck. Now, I know he was in D Machine technically, but this is where he's actually fully fleshed out, and he's a really good character. I think he really carries this map really well. And I think that a lot of other people agree with that. Peck is just a super funny, just misogynistic, arrogant, just guy. It's funny to listen to. It's just funny to listen to him talk. And I think he was a really, really good inclusion.
How about that? You got the job done. Come by Mission Control. I have what you want.
And I also some of the other more hidden parts of the story about how the Dark Ether miners were sent here, and basically prisoners from around the Soviet Union and stuff were sent here to go extract rocks, and basically there they turned into mimics and stuff. It's really, really interesting, to be honest, and how Peck abused his employees and all that kind of stuff. It's just really, really interesting. And I find that maps that have lore like this, they tend to go further for me, because instead of it just being oh yeah, I'm just playing a zombies map, I feel like I'm actually in the world. The world building is really, really nice, and that's just something I really do appreciate about Firebase Z. Now, another thing I just want to say is the bosses. So, the Mimic is a really, really cool concept. We've never seen anything like this before, and it only really works in Cold War, just because how the drop system works. It's really, really cool, honestly. The Mangler, I'm not really too huge for it. It's pretty cool, I guess, that we got a returning enemy. I don't know if the Mangler would have worked. Maybe the Napalm Zombie would have been pretty cool. But at least we saw the Mangler in the rest of Cold War, so I guess it kind of brought him into the other experiences where he actually works a bit more well, like Outbreak and Mauritone. Now, I think you guys have been waiting for me to say something about, the biggest thing in the room, and that's Orda. So I think that the Orda boss is really, really cool. And, I think everyone's first time reaction to it, just seeing around 30, this giant beast coming from the assault waves, it's really, really cool. I think Orda kind of represents almost Cold War in a way. I feel like when you think of Cold War, I always just think of Orda on Firebase Z. And I don't know if anyone else can really relate to that. I know he was overused a lot, but his first introduction to this map was really, really cool. And I know for the Easter egg, I guess, he maybe shouldn't have been the final boss, but you know, for our first boss fight in Cold War, it's pretty good. And actually, it's decently hard if you don't use Ring of Fire. Go try it for yourself. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It's still easy, but it's not the easiest thing. Even the Mimic step isn't really that hard. You just have to know what you're doing and you can get it done. It just takes a little bit of precision, and people in Cold War were often complaining, you know, the Easter eggs are too easy. Like, this Easter egg is a bit hard. It requires a bit of skill, you know, leaving the last guy alive and, you know, having good accuracy. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with Firebase Z is how in the ending cutscene, you know, we didn't really get much, but we did get the tease to Outbreak, and we got to see Samantha Max's skin, which at the time was really, really cool. I know now we don't really think much of it, but I think it was really, really cool. And I think that overall with Firebase Z's Easter egg, like in general, I really like how it blends all parts of the map. You have to go to each part of the map and utilize each part. It's not like Blood, where you kind of like don't go back to certain parts of it just like after you're done the Easter egg or whatever. Like, I like how this map, with the Easter egg and without it, you can always utilize all the parts of the map. I think it's really, really cool. I think it's really, really interesting level design that they had on their part. And I always feel like on Firebase Z, there's always something to do, if you guys know what I mean. For like those first 30 rounds, it feels like you're always grinding towards something. Whether it be the Reiki, the head, the Easter egg quest, even the jump pads. Like, it just, there's always something to do on this map, and I really, really enjoy it. So, overall, those are some things that I liked about the map, and you know, I have to admit, there are some like gripes I have with it. Like, you know, them taking out the ray gun. I don't really know why they did that. They just don't have the ray gun on this map. It doesn't really make much sense. But overall, I feel like those like little nitpicks and like the jump pad Easter egg, I feel like those little nitpicks, those don't affect the overall quality of the map. And in my opinion, this is the reason why Firebase Z is one of the best maps on Cold War, and actually one of my favorite maps of all time. So if you've made it this far, you know, drop a like, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Finally! Could you have taken any longer to get here?
You were smart to transmit your research. You demonstrated loyalty to an extent.
To an extent? What more do you want? Just wait until we get back to Moscow. We'll see what the Colonel thinks about this.
Really? Do you really want to know what I think? I think I want to see a demonstration of your commitment to Omega. Tell me, Doctor, which is your better eye?